Hello there. All right, I made my first test batch. We are making healthy Cheez-Its this morning. They look wonderful on paper. I'm not certain yet. Not real certain. But I baked some and they still have to cool. But they're not bad. Actually, not bad at all. So, we're gonna make some. Super easy. And remember, October is all about metabolic health. And do you know that only less than 7%, I wanna say 6.3 or 6.4% of Americans are metabolically healthy. Just a little side note here, metabolic health pretty much means whether you're, my three pillars, we've got hormone health, gut health, and metabolic health. They are all connected. Everything is connected. Metabolic health, in my opinion, is your longevity. It's everything. If you're not metabolically healthy, and of course the root of everything is inflammation. Inflammation starts in the gut. So if we clean up the gut, we start to reverse inflammation. You begin to become metabolically healthy, and all the magic happens. However, we're going to start, these are going to help you become metabolically healthy. The macros are fantastic. I hope you know by now, I'm one of those weird people, like I read a recipe book like a textbook, and I merge things together and think, oh, well, this doesn't sound like it's gonna work. This might work, So what I practice, what I do here is kind of the mashup of a few things, and, knowing some science, knowing some chemistry, trial and error. Really, it's all trial and error. So yes, these really are all my original recipes because I change them. I test them, I put them into my macro calculator, and my goal is always to get the macros to the macros we do in my practice and in the FIT formula. It is 35 protein, 35 healthy fat, and 30 carbs. And of course, healthy carbs. We want to keep that a little bit lower. And we do this, it's just common sense whole food eating. It's simple, but not always easy, right? Because you have to do little tricks. You can't go to the grocery store into the middle of the grocery store and do your shopping, because that's where all the garbage lives. That's where if you read the label, literally like what they're trying to get you, if you read the front of it and think, oh, it's high in fiber, it's whole grain, it's this, that's a bunch of crap. It's a marketing trap. So you need to read the labels. And I am all about good, better, best. We do the best we can with what we have at the moment, right? If you're on a road trip, it's gonna look a little bit different than when you're at home. So, okay, now that these are cooling off, they're growing on me. They might need a little more salt. So quickly here, let's put this together. We have 1 cup of shredded cheese, okay? Now, I always feel like a spoiler. I always feel like the person who's gonna pee on your parade. But I just want to give you a little tidbit of information. So, shredded cheese, store-bought shredded cheese, is a time saver. True confessions here, I usually always have some of it, something, whether it's cheddar or mozzarella, in the fridge, because it's quick. It lasts longer than fresh grated cheese because it has a coating on it. Now, the problem with the coating is if you have celiac disease, or if you're gluten sensitive, or if you're trying to avoid gluten during a gut reset, that stuff, the stabilizer, what it's covered with will mess with your gut. So it's a pain to grate cheese as you need it. And if you grate a whole lot of it like this and put it in the fridge, it's not going to last as long because it's not covered with that preservative. So again, you know, we do pay a price for convenience. We do pay a price for convenience, and depending on what you're doing at the moment. So when I'm doing a gut reset, or when we're trying to, you know, do a maintenance gut reset, I'm using fresh grated cheese just to avoid that. But if you're gluten sensitive and using pre-shredded cheese and wondering why that's bothering you, and you're thinking it's the cheese, it's the lactose, most likely it's what's coating the cheese. So this recipe, 1 cup of cheddar cheese. Boy, I made a mess in here already. 1 cup of cheddar cheese, a 1/2 cup of almond flour. Now, flaxseed meal. Flaxseed meal, you add 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal, and this is supposed to give you a little bit of a crunch. Okay, so our flaxseed meal. Then the first batch I made was 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'll tell you guys, first of all, when you use real mineral salt, I don't believe it's as salty as table salt, the garbage, right? And it makes sense because this is natural. So I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon, not a 1/4 teaspoon. I think it needed a little bit more. And now baking powder, because we're gonna get a little rise out of these, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, not soda, powder, our salt. Okay, you know, I think a little touch of cayenne pepper might be tasty in this. So I'm gonna grab that. So, you know, and this is the fun thing. You can put anything you want in these, right? Put a touch of cayenne in there. Okay, so we're gonna mix this all up, and it just looks like, whoops, the cayenne, oh my gosh. So, it just looks like shredded cheese and flour, right? And now, I mean, anything you want. You can put garlic powder, you can put bagel seasoning, whatever. You got that all, and now an egg. Bind it all together, okay? Remember, the better your ingredients, the healthier everything's going to be. If you're lucky enough to live by a farm or someone who has chickens, oh, buy their eggs. Okay, so I'm just gonna mash this up, bring it all together, let it form a dough, okay? And then we're going to roll this out. Honestly, one bad thing about buying farm fresh eggs, they're all different sizes. So consistency is, consistency when baking is important. And my first batch I did was more wet because I think the egg was a little bit bigger. And you know, the funny thing is when we had chickens, we had a little bantam. And I would, if I had, a really, really big egg and a recipe called for 2 eggs, I'd use the really big one and then the little tiny one from the bantam chicken. And it worked out, Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're going to roll it out. And I know I'm talking a lot through this, but this is so much easier than, than you think it is. Okay, roll it between parchment because that, of course, yeah, and you can bake it right on the parchment, okay? I like to do that little trick. Hold it there. So we want this about 1/8 of an inch thick, okay? And then use a pizza cutter, use a, whatever, a bench knife, pizza cutter, roll it out. And then sprinkle it with a little salt, top it with a little salt, little paprika, and then you bake it at 350 for about 12 minutes, okay? Now, I think my cutting wasn't so good, but these really aren't that bad, and I wanted them a little crisp. So here you go. Okay, I definitely, and honestly, you can break them apart. It depends on how pretty you want them to look. Honestly, they look a little funky, so nothing's going to look like a Cheez-It, right? We could melt this cheese, mix it all together. I did not melt it, so you see chunks of cheese in it. Okay, delicious. Oh my gosh, I love them. Definitely needed a little more salt. I think the second batch is going to be even better with the cayenne. I put paprika on top of these, so that's the color. Oh my gosh, they're delicious. Hummus. Now here, the best part. Okay, I can't stop. The crunch. Oh my. Winner. We have a winner today. Really yummy. You could change the cheese. I'd go for, I think this was sharp. I usually always buy sharp cheddar. I buy like the sharpest cheddar you can get if you want that real tang. Oh, spice it up. This is going to be so good with cayenne pepper. Listen to these macros. 5 crackers. The pepper finally got to me. Okay. 5 crackers is 140 calories. Okay. And now I look at calories when we're really trying to lose weight. When you're trying to get a deficit, that's when we're looking at macros and calories. If you're at a healthy weight, exercising, all of that, in my opinion, if you get your protein, drinking your water, following the macros that I mentioned earlier, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. If you're losing weight, if you want to lose weight, that's when I'm looking at calories and creating a calorie deficit. So 140 calories, 9 grams of protein, 5 crackers, 9 grams of protein, 11 grams of healthy fat, 2 grams of net carbs, 2 grams of net carbs. They're gluten-free, high protein, low carb crackers. No highly processed garbage. So, I would say hummus, whatever, but I honestly don't even think you need anything with them because they are that good. I'm excited. I'm going to have 2 batches of these for the weekend because the grandkids are coming over and they're going to like these. Oh, very chip-like. Okay, fantastic. Now, I'll stop eating. Remember what I talked about on Wednesday. This is not those snack cravings, that craving for the carbohydrates, that comfort food. Has nothing to do with willpower. When people say to me, oh my gosh, I had to go to bed because I was so hungry. Feed your body. If you're hungry, there's a reason. If you're having I was so hungry, I had to go to sleep, not to eat anything, then your body needs something. 1, we need to get it out of that blood sugar roller coaster. We do that by being protein forward. 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. That gets you to just about 100 calories a day. That is minimum. When we want ideal protein, we're looking to get, it's 0.8 grams per pound, per ideal pound of weight, okay? So if you weigh 140 pounds, you're right around 130 grams of protein a day that your body needs. So I start off with saying get 100 grams of protein a day minimum, because that honestly makes you realize how short we are all falling. And you've heard me say it. I'm guilty of it also. It is very difficult for me to get 100 grams of protein a day. I can't do it without a healthy protein powder and doing little hacks. Shake or a smoothie bowl. I always make my shakes with Fage Greek yogurt because that's 15 grams of protein. All right, well, I lost connection. So if you're still here, I'm wrapping it up. So protein, protein, protein. I know I sound like a broken record. If you make this recipe, please let me know how you liked it. I might be testing out something else. I think we're gonna be playing with a little pistachio cookie while the kitchen's a mess. All right, everybody, I will see you on Monday at noon. I will be continuing our sugar steady month of October. I also put together a sugar steady playbook. If you're interested, shoot me a DM, hit a comment here, and I will get that to you. Have a great weekend.